Hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Max.
Marty.
What did I just call this cat Max? I mean, Marty. This is not my non-fuzzy son. This is my fuzzy son, Marty. And my daughter. Peek your head, Azolia.
I'm gonna try.
She's going to peek her head.
Hello.
Can you tighten that thing up?
What? No.
Sounds like
Maybe. I was
so
using
tight.
it.
Fix it. Do I just do this?
No, that'll loosen the other thing. You just need to tighten up the.
I'm
Okay.
working it.
Wow.
Fighting. That's pretty good anyway.
Yeah. There's baby in the frame.
That's a thing Azalea's been working on, y'all. You like that? That's some kind of costuming. She needs to run around with that dude that I don't know where he lives. You know the one I'm talking about. He's like, what men? He's like, remember when men used to be masculine? And he looks like a young Lestat.
Yeah.
And so he's frogging around in like 1680s clothes.
Yeah, wearing his little Georgian outfits.
Georgian.
Yeah, that's the same. My thing that I have here is the same time period.
Yeah, so Azalea needs to run around with that dude wearing that. Is that, or that goes underneath?
That goes underneath.
Otherwise, she'd be in her underwear in public. Nobody wants that. Well, maybe some people want that.
All right, change the subject.
All right, hello, my friends.
It's Marty's
hello.
birthday tomorrow.
Yes, today I was cleaning off a bookshelf, like how you do when you have tons to do, but then you see this bookshelf that just needs attention, and so then you're like, oh, I need to clean that. So when I was cleaning it, I found Marty's birth certificate and his lineage, his father. Do you remember who his father?
I don't
They
know.
had very
It was
dramatic
Charles
names.
Something, Sir, Lord, something or other. I'm not sure.
It was pretty cute. His mother, Mariana. I don't remember what it was. It was just this morning I read it. Now I can't remember it. But I did see that his birthday is tomorrow. He's going to be 6 years old, this cat. Right here. From the age 6. Hello, my friends. I see Michelle's joining us. Hello, Pat. Hello, Terry. Hello, my friends. Hello. Today, I'm going to do some wax work, and I'll show you. Oh, and also while I was cleaning the shelf off, I found some stringing things. That's fun times. Check this out. So they send this to you when you send stuff to stringing. They send it in this big envelope. And this is in one issue of stringing on the shelf. It was good. That's a necklace I made. They cut it out for some reason. I don't know why they cut it out. What's it called? The Sea Maiden's Pearls. This is from Stringing. You guys remember that magazine? Look, this business I keep coming back to it. One would say I never grew out of it. Right? Am I right? There's the button and loop, use small pearls. It's on the other side. Oh, and then this one. Look at that. There is that mystery, what do I call that? Clasp, or what is it? Hook? Mystery hook?
Something like that.
Shower of Stars. That's that necklace. See, we've got that faceted bead that's on our website, but with all those drusies. And I used to have this thing for putting tassel-y fibers on things. That was fun times. Oh, hello, Melanie. Hello, my friend June. Hello, Nilda. Thank you for joining me today. Good times. Looking at this was kind of delightful yet sad, because this doesn't exist. And I was like, what a good value. Because if you look at it, you get all these patterns and it was like $8 or whatever. Now it's like one pattern is like $12. Check this bracelet out. Right. Look up my crow that got in there. I was happy about that. That crow neck. See, more beaded, beaded loops. Oh, and there's another one of mine right there. Another beaded loop. You'd think I was on a roll. See that moon button with kyanite, and then the other one has pearls. I found that and I was kind of like, why don't I do that anymore? I went through a phase where I was that's like feathers. See that one? Has a little tassel of feathers. I don't know if I can remember how to do that anymore. Of course I can remember how to do it. That's not that hard. It's not hard at all. Oh, and here, another one where, see number 9, I have coins with a tassel of cord. I had a big fixation with using that waxed linen. You can see it up here too. Number 2. See that? That's one that I used. That's another way to use that piece. Pretty fun. So that was in stringing in 2013, of fall 2013. Man, I miss that. I wish they would come back because that was good times. Okay, so that inspired me today. I was looking around at my jewelry and what was I doing? And I thought, man, I already made these new clasps and I found a bunch of necklaces. I finished another one. Oh, I finished this one. Oh, it's so hot up here. It makes it hard to think straight. Oh, Wendy says, love those tassels. Let's bring them back. Oh, Nilda says, happy birthday to Marty. Yes, my son. Finished this one the other night. Now, you know what the funny thing is I had this one stored in a bag for who knows how long. I'll show it again. I'm trying to get it where I'm not in it as much, and it will get in there. All right, that doesn't seem to be working. I'll make some space. Hello, Diane from St. Louis. I was born in Dexter, Missouri, not far from there. Oh, hello, Connie. Our neighbor, Connie. Connie, are you doing the uncommon market? I was thinking about, I don't know if there's space for us, but I'm thinking about it. I'm going to flip this camera around so I can show what's what. Hmm. Looks good, huh? Oh, my desk is it's so terrible. That's a little far. Let's get in there a little bit. All right, so here we can see what I've been doing. So for one, let's move this up. Horrendous. So this is the the necklace that I just finished. This is from my crochet workshop. I teach this. It's on my Etsy, or it's on my website. If you are interested in taking this course, it is on the website. Daughter, you can drop that link. She's like living her best life in drawing. Sorry. Oh, Connie says, yes, I am. There should be room for you. I'll ask them for you. I'll ask them. Although there's another show. Lately there's a couple, but sometimes if you don't know about it till late, then that's no good. This one, look, has a lot of black opal. I strung this one a while ago and didn't. Oh, and here's some of those. Y'all remember those sapphires? This one's a ruby. Oh, and it looks like, I'm a big fan of chrome dioxide, and I think that's what that is there. It's in a coin. And little faceted, what is that? That's a sapphire right here. Sapphire cubes. What is this? Oh, maybe that chocolate moonstone I'm pretty crazy about. More of that ruby. Kyanite. I'm a fan of it. I love pink and blue together, especially blue green and like a bluish pink. Although I will say, it also looks good with. This is orange kyanite. Man, if I could find some orange kyanite beads, look how good they look with regular kyanite. You know what it reminds me of? Of kind of like rust a little bit, growing on a truck. Too many things here. Too many things happening at once. Okay, so this is what I was working on. I haven't decided on the clasp I'm going to put on it. I wish I was done because this would perfectly match what I'm wearing now, which is one of my old maternity dresses that is extremely comfortable. Oh, is this it? Yes. So I can choose now which one would be suitable. And I made these little pewter ones here, this has been the big hit. This one. It's new. I feel like one of these three should do it. The class for this. Hello, Tina. Tina says, hi, Cynthia and Azalea.
Hello.
I see some more. Let me see who else has popped in. Hello, Cecilia. Hello, my friends. Anybody doing a market this weekend? I know Joanne's doing one. She's not doing Uncommon Market. I don't remember the name of the one she's going to. You know, this time of year, in this time of season, there's almost a market every weekend. But you got to be Johnny on the spot and get in there. So who knows if I'll get into one. I didn't sign up for it on time. Some of them you got to sign up from well in advance. And if you don't, then you're out of luck. Oh, Pat says, I really love how you varied the bead size in the necklace. I would call that. Oh, Melanie says, I vote alligator. That's cute. Yeah, that's cute with this. So varying the is that's like in painting. You want to vary the texture, your color, or the shapes. And so when I'm making a necklace, I think of it the same way. So I think of these areas as areas for your eyes to rest, because it's like little silver, kind of like glitter. You know, it's like a place where you're not going to linger too long. It's just an added texture. And then you're like, whoa, what's happening? And your brain is programmed to look for patterns. So something like this, I feel like draws the attention because your brain is looking for the pattern. You're like, oh, is it 3, 2, 1? Is it 4, 2, 2? What's going on here? What's the pattern? And as you look, it becomes clear that the only pattern is that it's uneven numbers. And that's it. But I do like to change it because I changed the way I'm wearing it. So I could put the clasp on this. Let's see what time it is. 12. I've been on for 12 minutes. So this, I think, would be a good option for this piece here. And I will put the clasp on this. I want to add more. See, I bring my foot. Could do that. That looks like a firefly necklace. Oh, I like that story too. Oh, Cecilia says, I love my necklace that I bought from you last week, and thank you for getting my package out so fast. That's for you, Azalea.
Oh,
Cecilia says, thank you. Good job, daughter.
thanks.
Hello, Ann Gardan. That's our friend Ann. We're fixing that, our next kit, getting the molds ready. Although the one mold is finished, and I want to do a drop-down menu so you have a choice of either bronze, silver, or pewter for the kit we're working on right now. Collection, I guess, is a better word. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Liz. Wendy says that black is also very forgiving. Well, a lot of things look good with black. I feel like black or beige looks good. But this one that I was working on is the blue. I stopped working on it last Sunday. We just showed 10 minutes of it. And then this one is on white. And these are inexpensive seed beads. And that's a different look. You can see it's pretty cool. But like the texture of this one, you can see has a little bit more. It's like it has just a little bit more flavor. You know what I mean? So that's the options. But you're not like pressed if you lose it somehow, leave it in a hotel or on the plane or something. You're not devastated by the loss of your seed beads. Maybe this you might be devastated for a little bit. All right, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm thinking about what I should do. Should I show how to put that clasp on? Do I have all the tools over here? Because I could put this one on. Although now I see everybody saying yes, firefly. So I had 2 for the firefly and 1 that I saw for the gator. So we'll let that percolate a minute while we think about it. I'm gonna keep an eye on the time, and then when it's towards the end, I'll do that. I'll move that there, and we'll decide. So this I made this necklace right here last week, maybe. Oh, this is not the one. Actually, I won't have that on there. This is not the one. This is a button on it. I have one with a salamander. I'm gonna grab one with the salamander. Here it is. So I've been really delighted with, I see another one for Firefly, Alita. Hello, Alita. So this one has been a very good class, and it's lightweight. Look at his little feet. He's so cute. But one of the things I like is that I don't have the problems with this one that I have with some of the other pieces in my collection. One, the light weight of it makes it where it stays wherever you pretty much wherever you put it. So it's the weight of it doesn't, like sometimes this one, I've had this one for a while. I wear this one all the time. One of the things that this does that I don't like that it does is this. Like it goes like this sometimes. I don't like that story. I like it when it's like this. But that's only when my hair pulls this part and gets it out of order. This is a necklace. I gave one of these to Kate. I loved it so much that I've made a bunch at the same time where the beads were similar. I was using the same beads, the same bowl, but they're slightly different in how I put them together. But that was, I think of that as a series, like a painting series. So this class has been very good and easy to work with. And so that inspired me to want to make another. So these are the inspiration right here. So mermaids, all these nymphs and ladies. And you know what? I don't really have a clasp like this that would go with this. And that's what I want to do. I want to put that look of this and this. And also there's another mermaid piece that is always on order. And I didn't have one to show. So anyway, this is one I'm working on currently. I've been working all week on it. And I started it, I think, on this live a couple weeks ago. Isn't that right? I started this piece.
Yeah.
So this is a sea monster. And I don't see the necklace that I was wearing. I've been wearing it all week. The charm necklace with that sea dragon, the sea monster. I was looking around to see if I had another one just hanging out. You know, sometimes I do. This would be a good one too. The inspiration, another mermaid. And by inspiration, I'm meaning like the shapes and the overall flow. So it's going to be something with a round shape. This would be, I don't know, maybe I'll put stars in it, you know, because this has a star motif around the edge. I could do it where there's a pattern. See, I like to do where there's flat and texture, so it gives your eyeballs a place to rest. So you can see here, if I do a big texture here, I don't put any texture behind it, because otherwise it gets so crazy to see what it is and it becomes jumbled. The necklace with the dangles. Oh, that's over here. I didn't finish it yet. This one needs a lot like a spring class. Very festive. Can you imagine like a dress made with this all over? It'd be kind of cool. Pat says, anyone remember Cecil, the C6 sea serpent? I don't know that I do. That's cute though. That's a nice tongue twister. Oh, look at this. This was never in production. This is my fish, Hippo Monono. He had that look. And whenever I put my hand in the water like this, he did this. And then I could look at him and pet his face, and he liked it. So anyway, I'm going to do that texture on it. Let's see how that goes. So this is the necklace that inspired. I'm going to do a round piece with this. Put that in the column. I have this over here. I think we're going to go with Firefly because everybody's talking about the Firefly. All right, so this is my wax for my, I use this to melt the wax. It is full of denatured alcohol. Oh, here are my tools. Oh, I keep wanting to work on this, but look how nice and thin. Nice and thin. like a cracker. And I'm going to detail its face a little better. You see it's, I've had people ask, hey, can I make the stuff in polymer clay? The answer is yes. You can make your masters out of just about anything. But it's hard to get this level of detail, and also like it's really flexible and kind of, I could toss it down. It's not going to get damaged. If that was polymer clay, it'd probably be broken 3 places. Oh, and then this would be a good one. I usually have this in pewter. This is a bead that's usually made in pewter, and this is based on a butterfly. Like I think it was like a butterfly something. This had something to do with the butterfly. I think it was the egg. I got a book on seeds, and the butterfly seeds looked like they had scales on them. So that was the inspiration for that. Oh, Wendy says, coolest lighter. Where did that come from? Oh, this is, there's an artist I follow on Instagram that's called Copper Twist. I guess that's how you pronounce it. What's that saying there? 2020. I don't know if it says it in there. Maybe it does. Copper Twist. But they make all kinds of cool things. It's 3D printed wax. That's what I hope to do one day, because in a 3D printed wax, there's no mold. This was never made from a mold, because you'd never be able to mold all these little legs. This would never been in a traditional mold. You'd never get that out of there. Or maybe you could if you had if it was cut in a lot of places. I mean, of course, there's always somebody that can do what we say you can never do. There'll be that one guy that'll be like, I can do it. If Bob Burkett were watching this right now, he's out there, he'd be like, I can do it. I can make a mold of that. And he probably could. You know what? It's so hot up here. I have ice in a bowl that I have. Keep cool. It's so hot up here. So it makes it hard to think straight. So when I'm working, I like to use a base, kind of like a base of operations. I start with, Greg made all these things for me in a circle and in a square shape. And what I can do is this is 2 of the rectangles together. Why is that warm? What's over here that's making that warm? Why is there hairs everywhere? There's this brand also has a hand that looks like the one from Terminator. You know that movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? That hand from Skynet. Kind of want it. It's a pendant, but the same artist that does this. They have a posable hand. I have a nice little collection of the work. Even though, I do metal work, I still collect it. So what I'm going to do now is make this about the size that I want it to be. And I want this to be pretty small. I want it to be the clasp to go with these guys, right? So while I'm working, that means I need to keep it within this range. We'll see how fast they can do it. We'll block it out. This is the fastest part of this. Oh, and here's what the drawing. Oh, my thing leaked. So this is what I'm thinking about. I sketched it earlier. You see, something like that with the tail coming around and another at the hair. We'll see how close to the drawing I actually get. But you know what? That's the good part about it. Doesn't need to match that drawing. Because sometimes when you're working in the wax, your ideas might change. So it can be good to be pretty open to inspiration. What I'm doing now is I'm just shaving the shape down. Now, traditionally, a lot of wax workers, if they're watching me, they would be like, what is she doing? I'm using heat. Usually what happens is you can use a wax pen. It's like a soldering iron that has like a cord attached or battery operated, and you can work that way. The only thing I don't like about that is it's consistent heat. And sometimes you want a slightly cooler blade. And I feel like if I run a contest, I think I could be pretty fast at this. Although that could be my inability to figure out just exactly how long something's going to take. I always underestimate and overestimate how long something's going to take. Like if I have to put away my laundry, I always estimate like that will take 16 years to do that. So I should just put that off till I have more time. But then I'm like, oh, I will make a carved BJD, a new ball jointed doll. I can do that in 3 days. So I can't actually do that in 3 days, but my brain says, yes, you can. That's easy and fun. That's good. You can do this.
Easy and fun.
Mm-hmm. That's probably like my superpower is my own blindness to what is possible and what is not. Like people were like, you're going to have a business selling beads. And I'm like, listen, it's going to be great. And people are like, you do what for a living? Oh, I know. Strange. Let's see if there's anything anybody else has been saying. Right. So now I'm coming to it. I'm thickening this up. I don't want it to be too thick. In the past, when I have taught waxworking, and I do, sometimes people come over and we practice it at the table downstairs. Like sometimes Joanne will come over and we'll put veils on sticks in preparation for making them, or I'll teach how to make some small thing. It's pretty fun, although it can be a very challenging art form, and that it's not like any other kind of material. If you're used to doing clay, this is not like clay. It's not really like polymer, and it's not even like regular wax. Because if you use this with experience with microcrystalline wax that you use in a sculpture lab, this is not going to behave the same way. It's a little bit different. It's less sticky. All right, so that's one way. You can go to the edges. Another way, this is the faster way, is to do this. This is, and just cut it down to size. And sometimes, the reason I don't often start with this is sometimes I can inadvertently take off too much. Underneath this piece here is one of those countertop samples from Home Depot. Gray. I think it's like, I don't know if this is supposed to be like actual stone or what, but it takes heat. Like I can use this to draw things on like this. You can draw, I make veils like this. It's like drawing, like ink drawing 3D. Pretty cool, huh? All right, I think I've got the basic form. Now let's get in there and add the cutouts. That's one of the things of the negative space. You want to get that negative space. So we found a new bronze clay. At first we thought, oh, I'm gonna have to order this stuff from Poland. And that would have been kind of high shipping, you know? And so I was happy that we found one in the USA, and it supposedly comes in different colors, which will be kind of exciting. Usually, if we're going to do coins, there are a couple different ways you can do it. You can make waxes that are pressed with sheet wax. I don't have a piece of sheet wax up here to illustrate that with. Or you can press bronze clay. The bronze clay is more convenient. You're removing a whole step if you were to cast. The casting is fun, but it works out to be just a hair less work with the molds for using bronze clay, and you get like a really tight detail that sometimes you don't get in cast pieces. Like some of, I mean, like you get a lot of detail here on this. You can see it's pretty sharp, but a lot of times it smooths itself out. The molds don't quite fill. I was looking around to see if I had one. Oh, these are samples from that I made for a gal to custom work. So this one is not cast, but I have this one cast, like in a cast shape. Pat says, "You are known and loved far and wide." That's pretty cute. Thank you. Well, I'm going to look at this, see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go with this. Now, I made a pendant very similar. And it's a pretty popular pendant. It's a little mermaid pendant. I'm roughly sketching this on this. And I'm getting the negative shape. I'm going to cut that out first. And that makes it kind of easy to navigate. I'm wearing this bracelet that Alice made. It's getting me in the mood. I found my box of Tilas, the tile beads. And I was like, man, it's been a minute since I played with those. And, I love them. I have a big collection of colors. And part of me, a lot of the times when people go into the business of beads, it's because they want to get beads of every single, they're just passionate about it. And it just becomes, you just get where you want all of the beads. And so then you start to sell them because you have overflow. It's what happened with me anyway. I mean, I like to make jewelry, so it was an inevitable conclusion to this. Yeah, you can see it practically makes itself. Practically. See. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time, so if I want to show any more of like putting on a clasp on some of this. Again, if there's any questions, stuff you want to see, you can always leave me a message. Some things I'll let you know if it's too labor intensive. Like I get some folks asking me to do something that's like really involved and that I won't have time for. So I usually try to keep about an hour and a half, or I mean an hour and a half at the latest for the lives. So that's a similar shape. I basically recreated the shape of the salamander in this. But what I like about this is that you string through this tail and it's kind of sculptural, there's not a separate bail, like this. This has a separate bail. And I love it. But part of me likes it when a piece doesn't have like the bail is included. Like this is kind of like the bail is not decorative, but it's kind of part of the design and not just like added on like this. This is kind of an added on bail. Whereas this is a hidden one. Like you don't even see the bail. And that's my favorite is when you have a piece that can function as it's like almost like pocket sculpture, but then has a way to string it and take along with you. That's the best part. Oh, hello, Kathy. Kathy says, hello, all late to the party. Love to watch Cynthia create. Thank you. I like it when I'm creating and I make something that I'm happy with. With that. So this is coming soon. I'm excited. You guys like this piece? It's not done yet. I need to clean it up and add more detail and work on the face. What I was going for was a serendipity dragon. Give me a thumbs up or a hit or a like if you like that piece that's happening there. This is coming out. this is the fast part. Whenever people see me do, I'll show the how I block out a piece, and it'll look close to being done. And then folks are like, "Hey, so when's that coming out?" And I'm like, "When I get to the roughed out part, then the real fun happens, and that's when I am in the process of adding all the little details. Like putting the scales on, that takes a minute. That's really what do you call it? Labor intensive."
Look, honey,
This cat's passed out next to me. He's like, "It's so hot up here, Mom." Because it's like 90 degrees. It's a little thick. I'm gonna take some of that thickness down.
you guys want to be fanned?
You don't have to fan us. It's nice of you. Do you
Marty?
hear my daughter, how sweet she is to me?
I don't think Maury likes it very much. She runs off from the fan. Like, maybe right now he's just hot enough. Or
He's hot enough where he's like, "I'll accept this." Nope.
he didn't want it.
He's like, "Get out of here with that. Drying my eyes out." Like, where's her head on this? Where's the head? Okay, here's her tail. So there's the tail. Whew. I think I'm going to make her too skinny that way. I'm chasing this flame around. Thank you, little daughter.
Do you want me to not chase the flame around?
No, it's good. You don't have to do that. Thank you, though. That was nice of you.
You're sweaty.
I am sweaty.
Marty does not like it when I do that, I guess. I don't know why. He should. He's got fur. He didn't look handsome.
Little pop. Don't make him yell.
He did it in the moment.
She'll love him.
He is a talkative, complaining cat.
Well, he's hot.
He is yapping.
All right, let's see what else. I'm going to try and make this right here. But I think I like it better where the hair is doing something. You know, at first I was like, let's make it with hair. Was that her arm? I don't know what I was thinking. We'll have to look at this and see how close I can get it to that. Like, where's her head? You know, there's a mermaid in that Hieronymus Bosch painting. I think it's in the Garden of Earthly Delights where the mermaids look like they're armored. I kind of love them. So Hieronymus heard about mermaids and thought, let's make our own. And made them like look like a knight's helmet and like a swordfish body. So where did you see this? From his imagination. It's like maybe he got into that kind of special, the rye became infected, so he was seeing visions or something. You know, when a button toggle has rounded edges like this, it seems like they're the easiest to put on and off. I'm like, so this one's pretty good. This is pretty easy to take off, but I made a little bit where this loop is too big, so it comes off, in my opinion, too easily. So I want it to be a little bit more of a you know, you have to, a little tiny bit of effort to get that on. I like when it's too loose, too easy to remove. Today, when I was riding my bike, there was an area like a meadow that they're growing over near the river, and there are poppies and cornflowers, and it is really just gorgeous what they're doing over there. You know, there's some places where it looks like someone just threw a big old handful of flower seeds, which is probably what happened. Maybe, or maybe they just grew. They just grew that way. So this is a little bit thicker, but I like the idea of this being kind of self-sufficient and not having to need a bale on the back, like where'd that other clasp necklace I made? Although the star button works pretty well. I like a button. That's, I think, my favorite because it kind of, it just has an energy, I guess. I don't know, I just like it. This one takes a little more effort to put on. You got to go around all those points, but it looks whimsical, I feel like, at the end of it. Oh, hello, Angela. Angela says, so glad to catch you live. Love you guys. Love you too. Love my friends out there. It's like the best. I look forward to this. I am a super introverted person, but I do what I call show mode, like when I'm at shows. And it's something I learned when I was in junior achievement. They were like, put on your persona. Do you have a hard time with public speaking? At that time, I did. Like, I would rather have taken an F than gone up in front of everybody and talked. I'd rather die. So horrible feeling. And junior achievement is something that you do when you're a junior in high school. And they had people come in and like give talks, pep talks, and life lessons and that sort of thing. So they picked two juniors from every high school. I was nominated that year, and it was pretty good. They gave advice like that, like put your show hat on, or think of it like because sometimes it can be hard and it can feel really scary to put your not only just yourself but your artwork, which can feel even more. It's like you might not like how the way I look or talk, but let's not go after my artwork, right? But then that's what we do. We go after each other's artwork. Be like, just natural for some, to be critical and to compare ourselves, which is pretty much the worst thing you can do. I feel like as an artist, compare, because everything is going to be a little bit different, even when you're trying to copy. There's a couple of jewelry artists that I would love a piece of their work that's really expensive, and I do not want to copy it, but I do want to copy it. That feeling, that internal struggle, you're like, I can make that. But then you go to make it, it doesn't even come out anywhere close. That's your own vision coming out. Wendy's thinking about fiddleheads and ferns. Well, it's probably because they're growing right now, growing luxuriously. I passed by a place that was full of ferns. It was really beautiful. I know that some people eat them, those fiddleheads. I would be afraid if I were to pick them that I would be getting the ones that were sprayed with Roundup.
He likes to talk.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear what you're like you scrubbing on him.
He has big paws. It's hard not to want to come pet this cat. He is the most beautiful, handsome, cute creature. He's looking at me. Now he's slapping your necklaces with his tail behind him.
Okay, so look at this. How do you feel about that size? You think that's too big for this kind of, listen to the inspiration. Like these guys need a matching class that will go with this. It's probably too big for this, for sure. So let's see, I'm gonna do this a little bit smaller. Wendy says, felt the same way until I realized that if the folks are excited about what you're doing, saying, then it felt different for me anyway. Yeah, I get that. It's hard. I listened to this podcast about imposter syndrome, and I think it's especially common with artists. Like, it took me forever to say, yes, I'm an artist. That was like, ugh, it was so hard to say that. Partly because I felt so cheesy, like I should be like wearing a beret and like having, like one of those black and white striped shirts and the red. It's kind of cheesy. And there's a little bit of the idea that you're a little bit pretentious. And so I always kind of danced around it and would be like, well, I make things. I just make stuff. And I'd be like, well, what kind of things do you make? well, I make paintings and jewelry and this and that's. And they're like, oh, so you're an artist. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess that's what I do. And then I'd find some like nuanced thing. I'm more of a crafts person or a sculptor. And, just it was hard for me to embrace it, to just like be like, this is what I'm doing. It's okay. I don't have to, prove anything. Although that's the hardest part, isn't it? To prove that you are worthy of the title of calling yourself an artist. And I was comparing myself, of course, to the old masters. And so if I wasn't going to be as good or if not better than Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, then what right did I have to call myself an artist? And I think that kind of thought process is not useful because there's only one Michelangelo and there's only one Leonardo. We don't need two. That's already been, that's him. So I think it took me a long time to be like, it's okay to be just Cynthia Thornton. Now I'm doing some anatomy, and here's where sometimes it can get tricky. Like, where's her hips in all this? So I'm trying to do a little bit of figuring out where her head's going to be. So if that's her tail, there's her back. We'll go like this and say, hey, that's the front end of that. Not to refer to her like a car, like the front end of a Jeep, but maybe that's the head. Tara says, summer's coming. It's certainly summertime up in here.
Summertime in this studio right here.
Sometimes I forget, like, why did we move down into the dining room? We moved into the dining room every year because it is warm up here, y'all. And someday my dream is to get a big attic fan to drag all the air from downstairs. And like, we had it when I was growing up in Florida. We had a house and it was hotter in Florida than it is in here. But we had this attic fan that would drag out all the hot air. So I would like to get one of those. Oh, Anne Gardan, you were brave. You did it. Anne says, when filling out the form for occupation in doctor's office last year, I finally put in artist. And that was like, it took me a really long time to be bold enough. Because you know what I used to say? I would put in there that I was a designer. I mean, I do a little bit of design, but let's be real. And I have worked as a graphic, but I did not enjoy it. That was not for me. Like having to do that kind of work was hard. I worked for the Limited Corporation. That's I don't know if it's still that way, but 20 years ago, the Limited used to own Bath and Body Works and Abercrombie and Fitch, and what else did they own? They had the store, the Limited, and I think it was Limited Express. I don't remember. Anyway, I worked for that company and did a lot of designing, and it was a pretty easy job, but as far as like the work itself, but it was kind of hard in trying to please other people and try to get them, to see your vision and to be brave and to take, to do things that weren't done a million times. I mean, I get it. Like if you're going to put a lot of money into something, like they were at this point, do you guys remember those thing called, they were like a candle holder or a candle that plugged into the wallflowers. That's what it was, called wallflowers. And I worked on that project, making the sculpture part that you plugged in. And it was really hard to get them to be like any other flowers besides like a daisy or something. I was like, listen, there are such things as a peony, or let's do it. Let's get some of those rare flowers. Nope. So the first batch were really plain. It was a pretty easy and fun job, but it was not. I enjoy this much more. I get to make whatever I feel like. I don't have to make 1,000 different Santa Clauses. So here's where back is going to end here. So now what I'm doing is the the job of working on her anatomy. Oh, our friend Donna. Donna. Oh, I didn't see this. Okay, I see some people. There's some I've been looking down too long. I see. I never called myself an artist most of my life. Or no, June says that. June, why is this? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why is it? I was talking to a friend of mine, and a friend of mine told me, because we went to the same art school, and they said we're kind of conditioned, even though we went to an art school, to think of ourselves as supporting cast for other artists. Like it should be enough that you will work in the background, like set design or like costume design, but to be the big name, like, are you going to try and say that you're like Versace or something? And there's an undercurrent of, there's the big players. And it takes a long time to shake that kind of mentality loose, that you don't have to be like the supporting cast, that you, as you are, can be the person, that is dictating your future. Oh, Wendy says, like Pat Moore said, you are known and loved for your unique niche. Oh, thank you. Anne says, I didn't even go to art school. Oh, art school is fun. It's a good place to meet your friends. But I don't know how necessary. Although I will say you get access to some cool equipment. And that's a big deal. I encourage Azalea, so if you ever want to go, your dad and I will make it happen.
Go where?
If you wanted to go to art school, never too late.
What, like a degree or something?
If you wanted it. Because there are some that say that your dad and I are holding you back from your purpose. Azalea had really amazing grades in school and can pretty much pick whatever she wants to do. And she's choosing to work with us. So that I feel proud about that.
Yeah, I would rather be with my family and have all the freedom that I have than spend all that money to get a degree in something that doesn't even ensure that I'm going to get a job somewhere for it.
Well, nothing will give you, it's like anything. I mean, if you are not into it, no matter what the degree is in, it's not going to work for you,
Yeah. But I mean, it's a risk.
It is a risk.
That is a risk that I am not particularly interested in.
Well, I think if you have, like, I've been encouraging, like, there are other, like, I had a friend that I went to college with, and the school that I went to was known for their foundation year art school. It was like known. They're like the best in the nation for their first year art school, And so she just wanted that very first year. And when it was over, she was just going to do residencies and get her education in a very specific way, like get the things that she wanted instead of following, like to get a degree at the school that I went into, you had to have like a semester of art therapy and a semester in art history, and all that stuff's useful and it makes it where you can talk about art. But one thing that we did not get is how to run a business, an arts business. And that would have been useful, like how to prepare, to slides to talk. Now that's showing how long ago slides. I mean, when was the last time we even worked with slides? It's so much easier to get information now than when I was in school. I don't know how a lot of these art schools stay where people keep going. I mean, with all the things you can get now for free information. But it is fun. It is a good time. And if you can go on a scholarship, I went on scholarship to go to school, then it's even better. You can see what I've been doing here and how that's coming along. Donna says, it's never too late, Azalea. I went to school when I was 30. It's all of that is just part of the tapestry of your life and what you plan to do. I've known some amazing artists that followed the path that are doing really well. in their field, making art, teaching mostly, and doing great. And that's definitely a path that you could take. But I think just, right now, you following your instincts on what you want to do with your time and your life is pretty good. It's pretty luxurious.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of me wants to make it where that's one side's her back and then one side's her front. Does that sound lame? I think it'll be good. It'll be like this salamander where you get the front and then back.
You get the top of the head and the booty.
Oh, I'm behind on these comments here. I see a bunch of them. June says, I felt I wasn't really a true artist. After a few decades of being introduced as an artist at work, I guess I finally accepted the title reluctantly. And it's funny that way. I don't know why. I feel like, June, you're speaking for probably all of us with that. And then Donna says, replying to Anne, I used my degree to build my own websites. It's useful. And right now, I was telling a friend of mine, they're like, well, do you feel like you're holding Azalea back from not allowing her to go to an art school? And
That's
well, not allow, but not really, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not putting the demands. Like, there are a lot of families that when I was younger, they were like, if you're not going to go to school, then you need to move out. If you're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, they had a lot of kind of
very
conditions. There's conditions to, and I don't like that myself. So, but anyway, I mean, I told my friend, I was like, Azalea is basically right now having the time to have like a master's program in sewing and crafting because she's getting information from friends of ours that have been sewing for decades and learning. I'm teaching her different sculpture techniques. Greg is teaching her how to do metal crafting. She's actually getting a pretty good education that is, she's basically picking and choosing what she wants to learn. And I have many of my friends that have offered and said, hey, whatever she wants to learn, if she wants to learn how to do business, I have friends with stores that were like, hey, get in here and we'll show you how it's done. I mean, just when we go and visit Jen from Cherry Tree, I mean, every time we go and visit her, both of us get some knowledge dropped on us of how to run successful. Yeah, she's very generous with her knowledge. Very helpful to us to help us get. I'm not, I went to school to be an artist. I can draw, I can paint, I can carve all day long. But sometimes, the business part of it, whereas I had to kind of learn on the fly through decades of doing shows and things, it helps to have someone say, hey, do this, not that, and you can kind of get education that way too. But it is never too late to go back to school if you wanted to. If you had suddenly the wild urge to go and be an electrician or something, or even just to go. I love learning myself. I just like learning new things. I could be in school right now. Learn how to use a 3D scanner. I want to make some things and make some different kinds of art and 3D print it. Max has been 3D printing some things. You should see. Oh, I should have brought some of those doll parks that he made for me. Oh, I'm more behind. Tina says Azalea has so much talent and she is family and self-taught. It's awesome. Yes. And Anne says, smart Azalea, follow your own heart, not the crowd. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Wendy says art history class was long and arduous, but so worth it in the long run. You know what? I loved art history. I loved it, loved it, loved it. There are certain artists though that made my blood boil. And learning about it. I was like, this is when you get into art history and you learn about some of these folks that like I so loved the sculptor. Gosh, what's his name? Rodin. And his work really appealed to me when I was a young artist. And at that time, I was making a lot of sculpture. I loved figurative sculpture. And in art history, I learned that his girlfriend, Camille Claudel, was making a lot of this stuff, but he was signing her work. And that back then, that was very common, and it's still common. And I had it's common nowadays because that's sometimes that's how artists have to make a living. And I learned that for myself that when you work for a company, you're not going to get to put your name on it, only if it's your company. And so that was kind of, I like after working for other people for a really long time, it felt good to sign my own work with my own name and not watch someone else sign my stuff. But I was getting paid well, so that's the yes, June. Art school gives you the groundwork you need and your best friends for life. Yeah, I would say that I have some of my very best friends that I've made through my life. I had a good time. I went to the Columbus College of Art and Design, and it was good. It was fun. It was expensive. It took me, and I had a scholarship, so it didn't take as long as some to pay it all. But it was worth it, I would say. And there's also, so I get emails from the Aeromont School and from Penland. Those are all craft schools in the area within about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here that have programs that you stay on site and you learn your craft. Like there's ones on like stone setting, like you can learn to set diamonds. That's something useful. That's not like a degree that you would get though. That's like, you apprentice for. And it's funny, like most of the art schools that I was looking at didn't have an art or a jewelry arts. Like CCAD at that time didn't have jewelry arts because then it's considered craft, unfortunately. Even though there are many famous artists that would not be considered craftspeople that made jewelry. Yeah, so I'm working on this tail and it's coming along. You can see this is the part where you can really get in there. And this one's taking me a lot longer to get because it's humans doing human parts can be more difficult. That's not a surprise to anybody. But getting now where the real question is, where am I gonna put her arms? Where's those arms gonna be? I don't know. We'll see. Wendy says, true, lots of avenues now for learning. Plus, she definitely does get exposed to you and Greg's art as well as your friends and the company you keep. I was just about to say, all of the friends that I have in my life that make art are so generous with their knowledge. They're not like, well, that's something you need, that's paid, to play. Kate was delighted to give Azalea like the crash course in bag making when we visited. And if you were to take that class, I was telling Kate, I was like, this class, if you were to take it, it would be so much money. And it was like 2 years ago when we went for that concert, the Coldplay, not Coldplay, the Cure concert when we did that.
Best week of my life.
That was your Azalea's best week of her life.
Hanging out with Kate in Fresno, going to Half Moon Bay, going to the Cure concert in San Francisco. That's keep him alive.
It was like Make a Wish.
It literally was like, damn. Make a Wish Foundation up in here.
That's looking pretty cute, don't you think? Carolyn says, even taking a few college classes is a good start. Writing and art history classes, true marketing and business is a must. Azalea, did I hit something on this? Like the camera went out.
When did that happen?
Just now. You know, you see this device is currently inactive.
Did my phone get disconnected?
Yeah, your phone died, I think.
Oh no.
All right, let's go to.
We could always switch the. Yeah, we can go to the other one. There you go. Sorry, guys, my phone died. I guess it's been plugged in.
It's been plugged in.
Actively plugged in right now.
All right, that's the sign, I guess. It's time to wrap it up.
Sorry.
That's fine. Let's see. I see what some comments are saying. Love two-sided pieces, especially with the text on the back. Yes, I agree with that. It's one of our best sellers. And so something tells me if Azalea wants something, nothing will hold her back. And that's true. It's true. That's good. Right now, we've been fantasizing about having a store where people could come and have access to just having like a workshop where people come, take some classes, maybe, have days where it's like, where you come in and, maybe it's like we have a yarn store in town, Pearls, that they have a night where you could go in there and they watch Doctor Who or Star Trek and go there and you hang out and you craft together. I think it's important for people to do that. I was just listening to this podcast about how humans, even though you need to interact, it's like really important to interact with each other. One of the main things that's very important is the ability to embrace your creativity. And some people will say, I'm not very creative, I don't have any creativity. And I think that's true. I think we all have an innate sense of creativity that just needs to come out. It's like anything, you don't write a lot of poetry, you're not going to be able to do it very well at the first. But if you have the interest, then it just naturally follows. It's like muscle memory. You just got to just do it. And then, the rest will follow. I think being creative kind of harkens back to a time when you kind of had to be creative to survive. And that, that hunting and gathering, I think our brains are wired to look for pattern recognition, to look for colors that we like, shapes that are beautiful. It's a part of our inherent makeup as humans. It's pretty cool. All right, it looks like I have run out of time. I did not get to show this finishing, but there's always the next time. Am I right, my friends?
Yeah.
Let's see, there might be a couple more comments that I have not seen.
Yeah, true. They do make it where musicians and artists aren't real jobs.
Right.
Stupid.
And there's so many things. We were so disappointed to hear that the arts have been cut, like the funding for that. There's a lot of things that have been cut lately. And it's usually the arts that are first to go. And it's funny that should happen because it's kind of one of the, if 2020 taught us anything, that being, getting in touch with being your most human self, that is what keeps you sane. I mean, people weren't, they weren't sitting there when you couldn't go to your job. What were people doing? It's like they were taking up painting, they were taking up sculpture. Oh, Marty's been waiting for his snack.
Ooh.
Let's go down.
Yeah, I just need to sniff his head real quick. It's pretty nice.
The birthday boy.
My son.
He's watching me. Tina says, my mother used to look at a dress, get some newspaper, and make the pattern. In a couple of days, we had a new dress. That's some skills. And my friend Jessica Weasel taught me how to do that, how to draft a pattern from another piece of clothes. And she actually, the funny thing is this dress is a maternity dress, by the way. It's made in like a cotton wall. It's very thin, very cool. It's like an oven up here. But she taught me how to draft a pattern from another dress or another shirt. And I've used that information many times. Cat, my darling. Yes. I think, life experiences. So I've been taking Azalea with me basically wherever I go. And she's getting some of that knowledge from all the business people that we go to see, all the folks. It's pretty good. Let's see, Michelle, I'm trying to get through these comments here that I've missed. Michelle says the inside nickname of my art school is Cash. Cash, I can guess. Cash and more cash. Yeah. Oh, along her side. That's for the arms. Man, that's how far behind I am. Wow. Wendy says any class with Kate. She's a great teacher. She's a very good teacher. Michelle says I learned far more by working for artists and jewelers after college. The most intense learning that I did was when I worked with a lot of the people in the bead industry. I learned wax carving. It was good times. I mean, I didn't learn that in art school. What I learned in art school was like how to get along with other people. When you're in projects. I had to work with other people in project related things. And that's not easy for me. That was a hard one. Oh, Carolyn says many of my rock club members go to William Holland School of Lapidary Arts. I get their emails. I want to go. I want to learn how to facet. I mean, I know some faceting, but I want to do more. Wendy says you could even do something like that once a month, and I bet it'd be full. We've been talking about that. Zoe and I've been thinking, because we have different friends that have messaged us and said, hey, is there a time we can come and learn to carve and just do one thing? Maybe it's a pendant, just to learn and just do this, wax carving. It looks like a big, fun time. And it is. And as soon as we figure out the best way to do it, I think the best way would just be in my house, to be honest. I think that would be the best. And I think people would go. Oh, Kathy goes to open beading on Tuesdays. Yeah, I want to do that myself. That is the dream, is to have something that we can do for the community and that we can feel like, we're contributing. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. We've had a great time this evening. We did a little bit of wax work. I was going to show some more on these crochet necklace, the crochet thread necklace. I'll put that clasp on Sunday, and we are planning to have some new things bring up some boxes from Tucson. There's still a little bit left of that I need to move, and also some lots that we've been sitting on for a minute from like maybe some years ago. Yes. Liz says, thanks, Cynthia and Azalea. Nice show. I agree with you on how you can learn so much on your own or other business owners. She is learning so much from you and other artists. Yeah, she is. I think so. I mean, when I think of my early years of learning, it was different. It was a lot different. And I feel like I would have loved to be in this kind of atmosphere. I tried to raise my kids how I think when I was younger, how I would have wanted, because it's, you might not have gotten the childhood that you wanted, but if you're going to be a parent, then you can at least do that for your own kids. So, all right, my friends, I feel like I'm caught up. I'm caught up on those comments, except for, I see Tina. Thanks, friends. Always enjoy our time together. I agree. I always love, love, love our times on the live. It is one of the highlights of my week. All right, friends, thank you for joining us. We will see you on Sunday. And right now I'm a little warm. I can't think of anything else to say. So